وَأَتِمُّوا الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ.
So there are many things, like for example, if you, we spoke about the Qabr Mubarak, the Rawda Mubarak of Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That was the house of Aisha radhiallahu anha, right? Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam fell ill in this month, Muharram, on the 11th of Muharram, right? We're almost done with Muharram now. But 2 months later, on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal, he passes away. So you must know that that period of 2 months, all the other wives accepted that he can stay there at Hazrat Aisha radhiallahu anha. This was a divine system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of what He wanted at that particular time. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he passes away in the hujra of Aisha radiallahu anha. So you can understand how the housing were in the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that they were buried right where they slept, you know. And with that also you'll find that many of the Azwaj Mutahharat, their houses were just around that area of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha. So nothing is like as far apart, like, you know, sometimes if a person has a second wife, then you got one in Malabar, one in Galvan. It's okay, you know, you keep the war, but far apart. Yeah, it wasn't even like that. You know, you can understand the system was so simple, it was so easy. Nowadays, unfortunately, we've complicated everything, right? And then in the Haram itself, you'll find there are 8 pillars, right? It's called Ustuwana. Ustuwana means pillars, right? So there are 8 pillars. Each pillar has some historical, you know, explanation to it. I'll just give you a few off the top of my head. Like for example, Ustuwana to Sareer. If you see there, if you can understand Arabic, you'll see on the top is written the Ustuwana to Sareer. That's the pillar where Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam had made i'tikaf. This is where he would make i'tikaf in the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So it's always good, like sometimes, if you're near that pillar. Now in those days it wasn't a pillar, it was a date palm tree, right? So now they've erected pillars just to identify the spot. So the idea is that if you're in the spot, all you need to do is you know that my Nabi of Allah was here, all right? And you just, if you can, make 2 rakat salah, you know, you lift up your hands, you make dua. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was here. Anything he touched, did, whatever it was. I mean, Sahaba used to run after his saliva, right? Anything, it is full of barakah. There is no way, you know, there is no way you can escape the barakah. You know, that's the idea of it. If you do something, it's haram, halal, there's nothing like that. You just do it because, you know, for the love of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and you practice something like that, right? So Ustuwanatul Sareer, you'll get Ustuwanatul Wufood, for example. That is where the delegations used to come meet Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That is where the raised platform is, just behind the Qabr Mubarak of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. They would come and meet him. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam would seat them there, and he would discuss the affairs of the different countries just there, right? You'll get, for example, Ustuwanat Aisha. The Ustuwana Aisha is where, you know, Aisha radhiallahu anha, for a long period of time, she kept it as a secret. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam had told her that if somebody has to make dua in the spot, you know, then their duas are readily accepted. It was only in the time when Abdullah bin Zubayr radhiallahu anhu, he had come because it's her nephew, you know, he came to her and then he sat with her and he said, no, you need to tell me. She pointed it out. So they made a marking there. Now, if you go and make dua there, then we can be guaranteed, inshallah, our duas can be accepted. Right? So these are some of the pillars that come to mind. There are 8 like this. Yeah? Some of them are situated within the precinct of the Qabr Mubarak of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So you can't actually see, like for example, Ustuwana Jibraeel is where Jibraeel alayhi salatu wasalam would meet with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now this is on the left hand side of the Qabr Mubarak where Babi Jibraeel is. So you can just picture, for example, Jibraeel alayhi salatu wasalam coming in the form of Dihya Kalbi, like a Sahabi, and he would come give the revelation to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. How vibrant is that land? It's like, you know, when we say we go to the Dead Sea, don't take anything from there because of the adab that had come there. This is rahmah, this was mercy, this is revelation from the side of Allah. If you get close to those spots, you can just imagine what He's going to do for you spiritually. Because if you just have to make dua, Allah, this was a place of revelation. Allah, you put the Quran and the desire, the wisdom and the understanding of Quran in my heart. Put the basirat of deen in my heart. You can just imagine what it will do for you, inshallah. Right? So you think widely with the idea of connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are many things like this that we can we can discuss and we can look at when we go to the haram. It just depends. I don't know if you took a package with ziyarat. If you took it with ziyarat, make sure the person that's taking you on ziyarat explains everything to you. And if he didn't cover something, I'll send you the PDF, then you ask him about it. Ask him, because this is where you connect with your deen. This is where you connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So become very curious, try to understand the history, try to understand Medina Munawwara, try to picture it in the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you will see how pure it was in comparison to what we have out there today. Subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us and protect our iman. So in any case, in the haram itself, there are many historical points. One of the other ones are the Rawdatum min Riyad al-Jannah. That is a piece of Jannah, the piece of paradise, which comes in a hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, between my mimbar, right, between my mimbar and between my house, my hujra, my house. That means the house of Aisha radhiallahu anha. So if you picture it, the hujra, where Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is buried, and then the mimbar is Rawdatum min Riyad al-Jannah, right? It's a piece from the pieces of Jannah. Now, many ulama, as we spoke to them, we met them, whatever, they said, try to get in the first two safs. If you can get into the first two safs, then it's a guaranteed piece, because between the hujra, in terms of its width, and the mimbar, it's a very small width, although they've extended it to allow for crowds. So you want to actually just try and be with the original, right? So try and get into the first two safs in the way, now they've demarcated that with green carpets. So try and get into the first two safs, and that is where you make all the du'as that you require. It is as though you are in Jannah, because it's a piece of Jannah. Now just imagine you are in a piece of Jannah, you can make dua that Allah, you've allowed me to step on a piece of Jannah, Allah, you grant me Jannatul Firdaus. Jannatul Firdaus. That's the best dua you can ever make. Allah is allowing you that opportunity, that experience to be in Jannah, and a piece of Jannah in this world. Allah, now you open up, a Jannatul Firdaus for me, and constantly make the dua. Because if you look at it, in terms of the hadith, a lot of things ties up. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Bihawd al-Kawthar." So you must know that that's where reckoning will start. Already a person's success will be tested right there, right by the mimbar of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if you see the mimbar of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's great history behind that, which there's no time to go into, but beneath that is the Hawd al-Kawthar. So that means that as a mu'min, as a believer, if we are going to be fed from the Hawd al-Kawthar, that's already a sign of somebody's success. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam will see a person, identify them, غُرًّا مُحَجَّلِينَ مِنْ أَثَرِ الْوُضُوءِ. Because of you making wudu 5 times a day or whatever for your salah, for your ibadat, their faces will be shining, their limbs will be shining, It will be very bright. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, this is my ummah, this is my ummati, this is my ummati. Those whose limbs are not shining, they will be deprived from the drink of Hawd al-Kawthar. So you can just imagine how important that piece of land is at that particular time. So you make dua, Allah, you give us from the drink of Hawd al-Kawthar. Allah, you allow me to be from among the successful ones. So this is it's completely a spiritual connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the idea of it. And then there's a lot of history in terms of Medina Munawwara, in terms, when you go on Ziyarat, for example, Masjid al-Quba, Masjid al-Jumu'ah, Masjid al-Ghamama, Masjid al-Qiblatain. There are many masajid that can be visited. Learn the history, inshallah. I'll send the PDF. I can't go through everything, but on your Thaqifa Bani Sa'ida, what happened there, the history behind the Thaqifa Bani Sa'ida, the entire Khilafah that is brought into being. There's a lot of history in
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك